Hello, welcome back to Little Kodaks. Today I am going to see if I can load 35mm film into a 126 Kodak Kodapak cartridge. So this was used in the 126 Instamatic Cameras. This is the Kodapak. It would normally drop in the back of your 126 camera. And that's how you would take pictures. So, probably gonna try to use this X15 camera, because this in particular, once you take a shot, that little pin catch releases down into this little pocket. So when I advance the film, it knows when that next frame comes up. So it's kind of smarter than the other Instamatic 126 cameras that usually just had that pin sticking up, and as the 126 film would come across it, that single sprocket hole would catch and indicate to the camera when it was ready to take a picture. But with this particular camera, it stops dead in its tracks and flips that little pin up. So I think it's calibrated to do a full frame and then take the shot. So we're gonna find out once we try to get this guy cracked open. So what I'm told is that you can just kind of twist this and it will crack open. I'm not gonna develop this film. It's some old Ektachrome 64 color slide film, E6 processing that was already rolled through when I got this in one of my old Instamatic cameras. So let's give it a go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it and I'm gonna twist it back and forth to see if I can get this guy to crack open. Hopefully I'll do it without breaking it, but we're gonna find out here real quick. All right, well, it indeed broke. So it is all cracking up, but at the same time, I'm seeing it separating. So you can see it kind of separating here. All right, well, we've already gone this far. Let's see if we can get it all the way open. Okay, so you can see that it is not as easy as we're told it is. Here's our 126 film with the backing on it. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think I can get this back together? So it's pretty tore up, but that's, in theory, how you're supposed to be able to take this guy apart. And then you put it back together like that, and you roll your 35mm film in here, and it would come across. So maybe what I can do is I'll get another one, and I can use an X-Acto blade when I figure out where the connections are. So it looks like there's two connections here, the corners, two connections here, and it looks like three here. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll take this off of here. And you can see here comes our 126 film right there. That guy needs to be on the inside here. And there's the slots in the paper, which would line up with the sprockets. The end of the film, and it looks like it can go either way depending on how it's printed. So I'm not sure really why they do it like that, but that's how it's done. And then the end of the film here is taped there. And there's tape here on the spool. Well, there's our roll of film, which is kind of off a little bit. The film's tighter than the paper. And then here's our cartridge. Now it looks like they made it so it can go in either way. So in the factory, when it drops in, it doesn't matter if you're here or here. You can still grab it with the little bracket in the top of the camera. Well, definitely not going to use this because it got damaged in my my cracking of this open. But I wanted to show you, in theory, what I was told. So let's go back to the old drawing board, and we will get another reel of this, and we'll get it opened a little bit smoother so that we can have ourselves a Kodapak cartridge that we can reload with our 35mm film. So yeah, what'll happen is we'll take this 35 out and we will roll it up real tight into a little ball, and then it's going to sit in here and come across, and then we'll tape the end onto our spool. This is 24 exposures, and this cartridge holds 20. So I think that'll be all right once we get into it. Okay, so let me go grab another Kodapak cartridge, and we'll take that guy apart. All right, so we are back with another Kodapak 126 cartridge, and this one is not cracked open yet. But what we're going to do is we are going to use some blades and see if we can get it opened without breaking it. So let me get something so I don't cut my base here. And we knew with this one that the two corners were together, so we'll start there. I wish I had an easy way to do this. To try to not break it. I'll try to loosen it up a little bit. It is getting looser. Just need to get in there. Alright, I got one end open. Now, let's see if I can do the same thing on this end. Trying to get right in. Alright, got that guy loose. Let's get the other end. Alright, so I got this end cracked and this end cracked. Now, the tricky part is here in the middle. So hopefully I'm showing you guys that it's definitely not worth it to do this. Because this guy is just not wanting to come apart as easily. Easier said than done, right? right, got a little bit more. Anybody ever tells you this is easy, it's not. All right, so I've got two ends, and the one half, and the other half just peels off. And I didn't break it, so that was great. Here's my roll of film. As you can see, that is definitely not an easy task to get this open without breaking these thin little parts. But now that I have it open, I can go ahead and get it all reloaded with 35mm and tape it up. Let me get my tools out of the way. Alright, so what we'll do with our newly cracked open Kodapak cartridge is we're going to take our old roll of film off. There's the start of the film. I'll get that tucked in there. And this would start out and it would be over here. And then as you crank, it unrolls into the onto the spool. So this will be the same idea with our 35mm film. We'll roll it up. And then it would end up in our little pocket right here. You can see that's, you gotta get it tighter than that because that is already really tight. So that gives us a good idea. And I'm not gonna use the backing paper on here because I think that'll just be kind of a pain to get that wound up with the 35. I mean, I guess you could always try it. Maybe I'll do it both ways so you guys can see. And there we are at the end of our roll, which is taped onto our spool. And you can see it's just leader for a few wraps until right before this this number here, and then the film's taped on there. Back together, and there is our Kodapak 126 cartridge. That was pretty tough. But we did it without busting this one like we did this other one. Alright, I guess what we can do is pretend we're in a dark room, and I'll show you how you would you would load 35mm film back up into this guy. What you'll want to have is some black electrical tape and some painter's tape. The painter's tape will be to secure our film onto our spool. And we'll just cut a piece of tape off and have that ready. And then our electrical tape will be to cover up our little film window here. And then also what we'll do is we will, see how it has that lip on there, so we should be all right on the ends. And there's a lip there, but what we'll do is we'll get that piece of tape to go from here across and to tape this down, and then that will secure it all, sandwich it all together nice and tight, and that still allows us to have this guy spin. All right, let's get a piece of electrical tape all ready. So what we'll do, we'll get this guy, we'll get a nice piece going. So you want it a little bit longer. Cutting. And this will go over our window and then around our edges. So then when we pop it back on, then I'll be able to wrap that around and pull it tight. So we are going to be sacrificing this expired roll of Kodak 400. And you would do this all in the darkroom. So I'm gonna do it here in the light so you guys can see. We're gonna use just a bottle opener. Just a cheap old bottle opener. And this will allow me to get inside of our 35mm roll. There it is. And the reason why you can't just put a whole 35mm cartridge in the back of your camera is because it just doesn't fit. Now, I guess you could cut the end off here and fit that in there, and then I guess you could tape it onto, you know, half of this, but it wouldn't sit up there. It would just be kind of floating in there, and it wouldn't probably work. Let me grab some scissors here real quick. I'm going to cut this tail off so that we are just using a flat piece here. And what we're going to do, so this is the emulsion side, this is just the backing. We are going to get this and we're going to roll it into a tight little roll. All right. So as long as we don't touch the emulsion side in the dark room, you'll be in good shape. If you wanted to use gloves, you could do that too, but it's a little bit harder because you don't have that same sensitivity to be able to tell exactly what you're doing. So we are going to roll up this roll. And we're keeping it nice and tight so it will tuck in here real nice. You can see I'm keeping it nice and tight. Again, you'd be doing this all in the darkroom, so that's why I'm keeping these kind of tight together, because you don't want it to come unrolled, and then what it'll do is it'll tend to want to spin on you, and then you have this spiral of film which you have to get control of. Alright, looks like we are almost there. And there's the end of our 35mm film. It's also taped on there. Alright. So then in the dark, since we are working in the dark, we're going to get our film spool here. And we're going to get our 35mm, taped on there. And you can see that it rolls right on. So we'll get a couple spins on there. And we'll drop our 35mm here. And then our pre-taped backing. We'll get it on there. I'm going to pinch this, give this a nice tight pull. I'll pinch this and give it a nice tight pull. And now our film window's closed and our Kodapak is sealed with our 35mm film. You can see that it is good to go. This would then, here, let's do this. If I mark this, so you can see, there's a little X there. This. Put our cartridge in. And I pulled to the next one. So it seems like it's working pretty good in this X15F with our 35mm. Now what you'll end up with is you'll get the sprockets in the bottom of your picture, because this whole picture window is what the 126 film would use. So you end up with sprocket holes down there in the bottom when you get it developed, and maybe a little bit up there. Well, there you go. That's how you take a Kodapak 126 film cartridge apart and you reload it with 35mm film. I like that I was able to show you guys my trial and error with the disassembly of the first one, and that you can really see that it is not the easiest thing to reload a Kodapak film cartridge with 35mm film. They make these 3D printed ones also. Mine is kind of taken apart right now, but what it comes with is these different parts. So this is your spool with the little winder here. That would drop in there, and this side on this side, you would have your 35mm taped onto that, and your loose roll here, and then it has a little top that goes on, and then your film is down here. They sell these already pre-made that are in really great shape. Mine is a little rough because I have my buddy printed on his 3D printer from some free plans that I found online. I haven't tried to use this one yet. I think it's a little bit tight in here. Yeah, you see it sticks. So definitely want to get one that's in better shape than that. It also has this has a cross piece, and this is also a cross piece, so you got to get it lined up just right. So enough about that. I still haven't got that completely worked out, but this looks like it would work great. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope it gave you some great insight into what it takes to take apart one of these 126 cartridges and load it with 35mm film. It can be done, and now that I have this apart, once I would get this taken out, you'd want to take it out in a dark room, crack it open, put it into a film canister, mark it real good, exposed film inside, you know, unspooled, and then your film developer can take that apart in the dark and get it developed for you. If this helped you guys out, please hit the like and the subscribe button. It really helps our channel out. It doesn't cost you anything. And until next time, have a great day.